Hello and welcome to my channel called aKnittersSoul. As the name suggests, this channel is about crafting and knitting in particular, as that is the craft that I do love the most. My name is Elo and I come to you from Oslo, Norway. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's nice to have you spending time with me here again. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you like my content, and if you do, then maybe consider hitting the subscribe button so that you'll be notified whenever I release an episode. Yeah. For admin, I will, as per usual, link all my social media information down below, and also I'll be linking all patterns mentioned, eventual podcasters, yarn shops, whatever it might be. I will do my best and link it below, and if I do miss out on one that you're interested in particular, then do not hesitate reaching out. I will gladly point you in the right direction. Let me see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, thank you to you all who keep on commenting and liking. I do love and read every single comment. I try to reply to each and every one of them. And actually that reminds me of that there was somebody who asked me about this bag in particular, and I wanted to the question was like where I purchased it from and if it was possible to get this bag from that maker. And I was gonna reply to it. I mean, she pretty much has one-off kind of design, so I was quite sure the answer was no, but I wanted to be sure and check it. And when I went to reply to this comment, I could not find this comment anymore. But yeah, these bags are pretty much one-off, so she does not have this fabric anymore, so she cannot replicate this bag. So hopefully this answers you, maybe not in the way you were hoping for, but at least I've been able to answer you now. So I guess let's get into the knitting part of this episode. What I'm wearing is also one of my finished objects, which is my rose sweater by Gunn-Iren. And I've been knitting on this for quite a while. As you know, I started it about not a full year ago, but I started on it a while ago, and then it kind of ended up hibernating for quite a while, and then I didn't have the brain space to kind of pick it up and restart it because I just kept on making mistakes with the pattern, so I left it be for a little while longer. And once the year rounded, I thought like, this is too silly. It's a beautiful jumper, I want it so bad. So I pulled myself together and finished it. And I'm so happy I did. So I will stand up very quickly, just a little bit so you can see. So it's hitting my hip bone, so it's quite a nice length. I'm happy with the length of it. And yeah, I think it looks beautiful. I think the pattern is beautiful, so beautiful. I'm very happy with the choice of colors. Actually, I'm gonna take it off because it's quite warm today and I'm boiling, and this will give me an option of showing it to you closer without bending myself backwards here. So yeah, this is my rose sweater, and like I said, the pattern is by Gunn-Iren. The pattern is very well written. It pretty much guides you through every single step that you need to go through. I love the construction of the shoulders, because the way you are increasing the stitches, it kind of creates this illusion of it being like set in sleeves, so it has a very good fit on it. But yeah, when I saw you last, I had finished the body. I had just barely started on both sleeves. And when I picked them up and kind of like happily knitted away, and had pretty much finished both sleeves, I realized that my gauge was off. And I noticed it because one of the sleeves was slightly longer than the other one. So I actually in the end ended up knitting 3 sleeves, I guess you could say, because I had to rip back the one. And I also realized since I started knitting on this and on the body, my gauge was a little bit off. So in reality, both of my sleeves were off, just tiny bit, not a lot, but enough so that my row gauge was a little bit off. So, but I figured it wasn't such a huge deal, that if I just reknitted the one that was most off, it would be fine, and it is fine. You cannot tell that I was off at all. But also because I was off and I wanted the pattern to match, I added up, or like ended up knitting some extra rows on the body, which kind of resulted in me not having a clean cut pattern here, because she has it designed so you get like this perfect little diamond sort of in her pattern, but it's okay. But what I realized also is because of adding those couple rows, I actually did run out of the color, the contrast color yarn in the flowers. I was lacking about like 7-8 centimeters, no centimeters, 7-8 grams of the yarn, which is kind of problematic when it's hand-dyed yarn, and it's something I had hand-dyed myself. So it wasn't like I could go to a shop and say, oh, do you have more of this? So when I realized I was about here, and I was contemplating going with just the red all the way from here to there, I did not like that. So that's when I came up with the brilliant idea of trying to dye some more yarn at home with food coloring, which worked out just fine. Let me see if you can see it on the camera. These are the two different loves. As you see, this one is what I colored up last, and this is what it was original color. It looks a lot brighter on the screen. It's not as big of a difference in real life, but there is a difference. So it is just ever so slightly brighter, the new yarn that I dyed, but it doesn't really show like a lot. I'll show you like on the back, so you can see the last flower is with a new lot, so to say. And I chose to go over to red there and like kind of get this kind of clean red, which I think it kind of looks nice because of the style, because of the colors. It looks a little bit almost like well, not vintage, but kind of vintagey. But yeah, I'm happy with it. Super happy. I actually spoke to Gigernes from another podcast here in Norway, which is called Rette and Vrang. And she was commenting the length of the sweater, that she feels that it's a little too short. And I believe that she's followed the length of the pattern as it says in the pattern. I know that she went up a size because she wanted the sweater to be oversized. So she was following the length and numbers for a size bigger than what she would have normally done. And she found the sweater to be a little short. And I ended up adding, I don't know, was it maybe I don't think it was full 10 rows, but I'm glad I actually ended up with a mistake and putting in those extra rows, because I feel like that gave me actually a length that I really like, and I probably would have felt it was a little too short. So I guess it is a beauty of, I mean not beauty of, the pattern is really well written, so it's nothing with that. It's just knowing how long of a body you need to knit in order to get the length in it when you're going bottom up. And where was I going with that? Yeah, you know where. Well, anyways, like if you choose to knit that pattern, then just be aware, like, you know, make sure you're getting the length. I mean, that goes with every pattern really. You make sure you get the length that you desire. Anyhow, very quickly, I will talk, or like mention yarns very quickly. I have spoken about this yarn or these yarns in depth before. The main color is a Villa Sillat yarn. It's a number 565. It's this sort of a burgundy. It's actually quite like looking like my shirt. It's not 100%, but yeah, burgundy red. And then I had this Rauma Finul, where's there? Rauma Finul, and this is number 0478, and the coral color is 4069, and it's also Rauma Finul garn. And then I see that I have, well, I know where the last ball of yarn, the yellow contrast color is another project which I will get to in a minute. But yeah, I finished this one, and I also put it into a knit along, which is for UFOs. So let's see if I can maybe win something for being a good girl and finishing the sweater. I'm super happy with being like, I'm super happy with it being done. I worn it a lot. It's a very warm sweater, very light sweater, but super warm. So I'm so happy with the finished results. So yeah, that was my rose sweater. Sorry, leaning over, trying to create space. And yes, I have quite a lot of like finished objects, as it's been a while since I podcasted, and I will get to the reason for that just in a minute. The second finished object I have is my Sweetness and Light Shawl by Anna Rauf. And I was raving about this pattern last time, and I told you to look it up on Ravelry without realizing it. It's actually been discontinued, so you can't actually buy this pattern anymore. So I'm sorry about the misinformation. I just had it in my library, so I didn't realize that it wasn't there anymore. So this is it. I'll just very quickly move through it. Ooh. So it's more like a scarflet, shawlet, scarflet. I kept it quite shallow because I just had this one ball of Novita Kajastus yarn, and this colorway is, where's the colorway? There, it is 834, and this little, I can't even say nugget, but this is all I have left of it. This little tiny little bit of yarn. So I used up all of it. And somewhere along the way I did miscalculate, so I had to do a bit, oh my god, I had to decrease quicker than I had planned. So you see that the end, one end is more stubby than the other, and I have not blocked this hard at all. This one is just naturally, I guess I could have straightened it out, but yeah, I could. I guess I can reblock this. But yeah, well, I guess I don't know if I reblock it, it's gonna look just more or less the same. But this is a little bit stubbier, just because I ran out of the yarn. But I'm super happy with the result, and it's done. It's fun when you can use up all of the yarn. Actually, see it's matching. Fun. So yeah, sweetness and light shawl. Done. This one also is going into the same UFO knit along, and also I can put it into a knit along which is with yet another Norwegian podcaster. I haven't looked like, yeah, who runs a knit along which goes all through the year, and it is for things we knit as gifts, like Christmas gifts, but through the year. So that one is gonna go there if I haven't posted it there yet. I'm gonna keep on looking over there because I've got my notes there, so sorry if it's if it disturbs you in any way, but that's my reality. In order to remember everything, I need a little bit of a cheat sheet to look at. Now I'm gonna have to find the next project. I think I mentioned it last time when I was podcasting that I have a goal of trying to knit as many socks as I can this year, because it turns out that hand knitted socks are quite in demand. Not in my own, well, actually my own household as well, but it's not only the girls in this house that want socks. The men, they don't. Like hand knitted socks, that is. Anyway, I'm not sure if I showed you these last time. I maybe did. Simple, super simple vanilla socks with a, oh my mind is blanking, shadow wrap heel. Love that heel as it gives like a little bit of extra depth if you have high wrist. I don't have a super high wrist, but I find that regular German short row or fish lip kiss lips, the heels, they tend to a bit too tight over my wrist on my socks. And yeah, I like my socks kind of like mid-calf, so not so super high. And the yarns that I'm using or used are, the blue is Drops Fabel, which is a colorway 108, combined with this the dotted yarn is Hobby Dolce Sock Wool, and this is colorway 02, and this is all I have left. It's just this little bit there, so I've actually used up all of it, which I'm really happy with. So yeah, sock pair number 1. There's quite a few socks this time around, and also you'll find out why later on. So yeah, while I was working on these, I thought like, well, I'm starting to get to a point where I've actually used up both of these yarns quite well, but I would like to finish up as much as I can. So I decided to make another pair. Same colors, but the striping, because I knew I was not gonna have enough of them. Well, at least not the dotted one. And you see, I actually ran out of it in the toe, so I just went over to just the dark blue and Arvetta Marzipan is the last color there. So this is it, and it is color 977, Arvetta Classic. Yes, I'm like super happy with, I mean, with these socks. I like the way they turn out. I really like striping. I think it's a very good way of using up like scraps. 2, it kind of adds a little interest to it without being over complicated. It's still something that's easy to grab and go. And again, shadow wrap heel. So yeah, that was that. And project, was not planned, not at all. I was actually, I have seen this pattern for a long time. A lot of knitters have knitted it. This, I think it is from 2013 or something, 2012. It's been around for a while, this pattern, so it's not a new pattern at all. And the inspiration for me to start to knit on this accessory, this pattern, is this yarn here that I showed to you last time, I think it was, or time before that. It is Rauma Finull that was dyed by Garnbar, and the colorway is called Tyra. So it's actually quite accurate in the way it looks. It's a really neony bright pink with not a super neony yellow, but it's kind of like leaning into that, and then you have this gorgeous orange in there as well, which I would also say is not like super neony, but it's pretty. So the pattern that I'm trying to tell you about is my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. And like I said, I've seen it around for a little while, but it's just now that I wanted it. And I know it looks crazy. Actually, you should have put on the screen like warning, put on your sunglasses because this is bright. And it's kind of blowing out a little bit, I see. Let me see if I can adjust the light just a little bit for, I'll go with that a bit warmer light. Yeah, that's actually kind of more correct to the colors. So this is, no, it's not section 1, sorry. This is my section 1, which is just like, no, I'm lying. This is section 1. This is section 2, which is the Tyra, that crazy bright yarn. And I've actually worked it with just a white Finull garn that I had in my stash. Yeah, because that was also my goal. I was trying to make it fully out of my stash. I've been trying to be good and use my stash. And then it's a part 2 next to it. And then you got part 3, which is actually supposed to be a solid block of color, but I wanted to add in the white for several reasons. One is that I wanted to use some of the pink, but not all of it pink, and also I kind of liked it, like not being a solid block, but actually like adding some color. And then this one, I think I knitted and re-knitted and re-knitted and re-knitted quite a few times. I think it was 3-4 times before I landed on this. Yeah, because I just did not agree with myself for a longest time, but I'm happy with the way it is now. And then these are the 2 last parts. So it is rather crazy, but I like it because I think it looks so pretty. I love the yellow tails that are coming out from each end of him. I didn't do like as he says, like, you know, you choose the color 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you work them through. I just went with what I felt for, what I wanted. And yeah, so I think this color, this pink is kind of the best to me, for me, in my face, because this pink can be a little bit too strong, a little bit too overpowering. It's a little too cold tone for me, but I just like it. It gets a little bit muted in there, but still it gives like it's hard to like drape it around me like on camera, I must say. But yeah, you can see it's popping in there. But yeah, I'm loving it. And like, yeah, I told you, I'm trying to use my stash as good as I can. So this is a leftover from my rose sweater. think I'm gonna have to change back to the other light setting because it's kind of getting too yellowy. It's not as yellow. Yeah, this is more true to its color. Just very quickly, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it. My attempt of dyeing yarn is that I did buy a ball of phenol, which was this really pale light yellow, and it's color number 4986 as kind of the starting point for recreating that hand-dyed yarn that I had, because that was really close to like the pale yellow that's in the, yeah, well, I'm showing that in the original yarn that I dyed, and then just try to add some spots and some like coloring in the same way as I had done to the other, and it worked out rather fine. Like I said, it's a little bit brighter than original, but I'm happy with it. So starting point wasn't like white, but it was like this pale yellow, and that's how I got this. But I think it came out rather close to what I had created before. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, Serama Vinul, it's also what I had in stash. It's just 0400. I also used a little bit that I was 0401, I think it is, which is like more like this natural white in one part here. I think I put it there. A little different white, but I think it worked just fine. And then I have this sort of dandelion yellow, I would say, 0412. Yeah, it's more green on the screen. That's the color, I would say. It looks most correct all the way back here. And then this beautiful pink. Yeah, it's blown out a little bit. It's a bit more rich than it looks on the screen. This one is, I've lost the tag. I don't know how. It's probably somewhere in this room. But it is hand dyed by a dyer called Kvitlamme. And she's got a lot of beautiful yarns, both stock yarns and woolly wool yarns and different kind of yarns. And this was actually discounted because it was kind of like faulty, or had like discolorations, but I think like when I saw it in person, I think it just adds to the character, or like it adds to the yarn, the stick away. Let's see if I can show it to you. There are some like darker purple spots, you can barely tell, but I thought it was just pretty, and it's just like this really pretty tonal soft neon pink, I would say. So it's not this bright neon, but soft neon. And yeah, so those were my colors, and I'm really happy with it. I know it's not gonna be everybody's cup of tea because it's so bright. Ooh, I'm losing yarn. Sorry, just trying to round them up. But I just love it. I do. I think it's a bit crazy. Like, yeah, put on sunglasses when looking at me, but I love it. I love it. And actually, like, one part is that I was inspired by this yarn, but the other part is that Nina i den glade tråd, she is a wonderful podcaster to start off with. She has a lot of knowledge. If you speak any Scandinavian languages and you do not follow her yet, go check her out. But yeah, she has a knit along for 30th Unite. So she kind of brought the pattern back into my mind, and then when I was looking at this yarn, I suddenly kind of like had this revelation of like, oh, this is how I can, this is the yarn I would like to use for that, and I'm super happy I did. And now I can start using it because I've been trying to save it so I wouldn't get crunched up. My Easter shawl. Can you tell I'm happy? I love it. It's like all the colors I love, like bright colors. I'm not always bright in my choices of colors. I'm not, for sure. But yeah, I like accents like that, like accessories that just pop. It's like if you even have a little bit darker clothing one day or something, you can add a little bit of pop of color and it makes everything so much brighter. You can go all black and then just have something like that on, and it's so effective. It was quite nice to have it on. I'm not freezing, but it's nice to have on. Okay, focus. That was my birthday Sisters Unite, Stephen West. Next item, that's not the right thing. Ooh. I have a basket under there, like not under there, by my sofa, so I'm just pulling things out of there. I was gifted a pattern for Christmas and I totally forgot to talk about it last time I was recording. But the pattern I received as a gift is called Leaskärf and it's by Grå Tveitstøl. And this is my version of it. Oh my god. Let me lean a little bit further back. Can't do it. So it's longer than my wingspan. It's quite long. And I have washed it. I have not blocked it aggressively at all. I've just made sure that the leaf motifs show nicely. And I think it's so pretty. And it is called Lea Scarf. So in the pattern, the options that she gives you is like you can have like this how should I say it? Yeah, it gives you options for slanted ends where one ending is like that and then the other one goes kind of like that, so you get these pointy ends but like a different way. And when I first started knitting it, I was like, oh, whizzing away and loving the experience, and then I saw somebody's version that was made into a shawl and I was like, oh, that is so pretty. That is so pretty. And I am more of a shawl person than I am a scarf person. So, but then I was like, no, I'll go with the original. I'll go with the scarf, and I knitted away about like 1.5 pattern repeats of this. And then I met up with Gro, and I saw her version, which was made into a shawl, and I was like, no, I need a shawl. So I ripped back and I made it into a shawl. I'm so happy for doing that because I like I know this is not gonna be again like everybody's cup of tea, but I like when I have a little bit of like fluff going on in front of me, like in my neck. But also if I wrap it around me the other way around, I have like this little triangle that's going over my shoulders, and it gives me that little extra warmth that I do like having. So yeah, it ended up being a beautiful shawl instead of a scarf. And it is, like, as you see, it's a super repetitive, super simple pattern. You can adjust it to the width you want. You can make a lot of changes. Well, not a lot of changes, but you can shape it to your liking is what I'm trying to say. And the yarns, I'm gonna tell you about them in a moment, but they are divinely soft. This is like a cloud to the touch. This is so soft. And I would say that the true beauty is now really coming through the screen, because it seems, at least when I'm looking into the camera now, that it's kind of not blowing out, but it's not giving you the depth of the colors, because it's a very pale yarn kind of. It has those, well, actually if you see this, well, that's not much, well, maybe you can see it. No, not really. It's like it has very pale colors in there, like pinks and greens. It's called Apple Blossom, so that should give you a hint of like what kind of colors and why it's so soft as it is. And the yarns, I'm gonna tell you about them in a moment, but they are divinely soft. This is like really coming through the screen, because it feels, seems, at least when I'm looking into the camera now, that it's kind of blowing, not blowing out, but it's not giving you the depth of the colors, because it's a very pale yarn. but yeah, I'm claiming that you can't really tell the true beauty of the yarn. It's hard to kind of photograph it, videotape it, whatever. But the yarn that I'm using is a luxury merino, and this is also from the same dye I was mentioned before, which is Kvitlamme. And yeah, the colorway is Äppelblomst, or did I just say apple flowers? No, apple blossoms. God. And this is a 80% untreated and soft merino wool and 20% of silk. 100 grams to 600 meters. So this is like soft already by itself, but then I paired it with some Tynkitsi Ale from Dalegar, House of Yarn, is that what they call now? With it, also from Stash, and it just created the most exquisite, this is so soft to the touch. It's absolutely divine. Absolutely love it. I can recommend the pattern. The only thing is, I think it's only in Norwegian, so it's gonna be for the Scandinavian knitters, or actually no, you know what, there's not a lot of text to translate, so if you feel like knitting that and you feel like you need a pattern, I'm quite sure you can get quite far with just some Google translating, and also she's got diagrams, so I'm quite sure you can figure it out if you are by any means a bit more experienced than a new beginner. Even I would think that if you are a new beginner, you'll be able to figure this pattern itself out. But yeah, Lea scarf by Gro Tveitstad. And then I have one more finished object. No, I have two more finished object. It's the same pattern, but it's times 2. And this time I'm gonna start off with showing you the yarn, and I have actually misplaced the purple one. I tried to keep my yarns together with the project, but I've done some kind of strange move there. Okay, that's fine. Let's not waste more time on that. I will just have to write the... Well, actually, I can refer you to my Ravelry shop if you want to find out the number of the purple yarn that I've used. Anyway, I've shown you this yarn before. I bought it at a knitting market. It's by a very young yarn dyer called Myrtle's Yarn. And this is a thin merino blend, which is 75% superwash merino wool and 25% nylon, 100 grams, 425 meters. And I just fell in love with the colorway, and actually a big reason for that was that she had knitted up a sock with it, and I just thought the yarn, like the sock, was so pretty in that yarn. So my thought pattern was like, you know, to use up 100 grams, you need to buy 100 grams, don't you? I wanted contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs, and I knew, you know, like I would be able to make at least 2 pairs out of this, so that's why I ended up buying 100 grams of yarn to make contrasting heels and toes, because I didn't have the correct colors at home. The yellow that I bought for it, it's kind of I would say like a mustardy yellow. It's the colorway 135. It's Arvetta, and I think it goes so well. And I also have another Arvetta, which is like a darker purple. Actually, the purple is in the color of his hair clip. But yeah, I will have to either write it on the screen or refer you to Ravelry for the number there. I've cleared it away. I usually don't, like, until I've shown them. Anyway, the first pair of socks I made with this yarn are these. And the pattern is Hermione's Everyday Socks. It's by Erika Luder. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Trying to think. I don't think I made any changes, have I? No, because she does have the reinforced, slightly modified Patrick eye heel. It's a reinforced heel anyway, and you like alternate where you do the slip stitches, so you get this sort of honeycomb kind of stitch instead of like stripes as you get with a regular reinforced heel. And I think they're so pretty. Do like that with some sun coming in from the side there. But yep, I have another pair with that yellow, same pattern, different heels and cuffs, but otherwise just the same. And I was considering like knitting a different pattern, but I thought it would be nice, like not nice, but it would be kind of cool to see how much the cuffs, the heels and the toes change the yarn. Let me see, I'm gonna have to cover somehow, hold it differently so you can see. Like you can really tell how in this socks you can really tell like how the yellow pops up a bit more, and in this one you see it looks really purple the whole sock due to the fact that I've added the colors that I've added. And it's just so fascinating to see like how much it changes the whole look of a yarn depending on what you put as an accent color, or yeah. But yeah, I'm super happy with them. They're probably gonna be gifts, both of them. And I still have some yarn left. I know for sure I don't have enough for like a full sock in this yarn, but I have a plan and I can just quickly like tell you about it. I'm gonna have to go into my drawer there. Oh, maybe this is where I got my purple. Yay! I do! I knew I had a plan. So the purple I used is colorway 267 and it's also rette. But my idea is to do some more striping so that I can use up all of this beautiful yarn. And I have pulled out some skeins from my stash, and I'm thinking about doing some striping with these colors. The pink is trying to escape. Because all of these colors you can find in the yarn. So I'm kind of thinking that the white, because it is it a natural white, 101? This is gonna be the main color, and these are gonna be all stripes, these different things. And I have like a different, like not a special, but I have an idea of how I want to stripe them. But I'm gonna do a swatch and see how it works out, if it works just as well in real life or if that's better in my head. But yeah, those are my two pairs of Hermione's everyday socks with no modifications. I'm quite sure of that. Yeah, super happy. That's all for my finished objects, isn't it? Yeah, put them there, make some noise. I have actually, no wait, this is, oh yeah, this is some shopping. I have only one current whip. I've been working on one project quite monogamously now for not a couple of weeks, but maybe the last week or so, something like that. And that is my sweater by Anna Strandberg. Let me see if I can quickly find the original and I'll show you my progress with it. This is what this sweater here. I think I spoke about it like, is it now 8-10 months ago or so? and I made quite a lot of progress on it. And let me see, what's the front, what's the back? This is it. As you can see, I am actually done with the body, and it's blowing out a little bit. It's not as pale, it's more of a light than it. There it is, that's the color. And the beautiful cable details. The shoulders, let me see. Just I got this stitch marker holding together the sleeves, and in there I have the yarn and the mohair. And right now I'm in the middle of striping in a new ball of yarn. Let me see, now I can show you better. So yeah, it has this beautiful cable going all the way down. I like the simplicity of it, it's so pretty, I think, and it's adding such a great detail to the sleeve. So yeah, I'm super happy with the way it's turning out. I tried on a couple times, it sits really nicely on me. I'm super happy with the fit of it. And when I was doing the swatch, oh yeah, I actually can talk to you quickly about the yarn before I'll do the swatching talk. The main yarn that I'm using is hand-dyed Rauma Finulgarn. You can see it has like some speckles of different colors in there. It's kind of like you have this dark pink, almost like leaning into turquoise, like dark turquoise blue. There's some greenish spots. I'm trying to see if there are any, maybe here you can see. Yeah, no, it's not easy to show, but this is the yarn that I dyed about a year ago when I was visiting Gunn-Iren. Well, not a full year, but, and this one I like dyed with the purpose of using it for this particular sweater, because I had fallen in love with the sweater and I realized I wanted it in some kind of like this bluish color. I'm super happy with the way it turned out, and I'm holding it together with Tynn Silk Mohair from Sandnes Garn, which is again like this sort of light jean color, and it's colorway number 6042. And I've divided it up into small balls, or yeah, that are just in these bags, so I can pull them out of this and not get it all tangled and everything, because I'm going back and forth now with my thoughts. What I did with this sweater, let's start from the beginning, is that when I was swatching I realized my gauge was off, but I liked the fabric, so I did a little bit of math, figure out that I would have to, with the kind of ease that I wanted, and with the sizes that were, with my amount of stitches, if I knitted size 2, I would have the stitches I needed, so to say, and my mind just went blank. Measuring my bust, I was size 1, but like with my gauge I would need to go up a size. It also says to have quite a lot of positive ease, and I didn't want a lot of positive ease, not in as much as it says in the pattern. So I decided that if I would go up one size, that would be enough positive ease for me, and it is. I think it sits very nicely on me without being like too baggy, too big, and it's working out just perfect. I absolutely love the way it's turning out. And as you can see with hand dyed, you know, there's some more speckling happening down there, but that came actually quite a while, not quite a while, but a little bit after me changing the skeins. So it's not right where I changed the skeins, but a little bit after. and where they start those speckles is just perfect because it comes under my bust, so it doesn't look like, it doesn't accentuate or like, yeah, my lady bits too much. Just adds a little bit of contrast where maybe it's suitable. But yeah, I absolutely love and adore it. I love the details of this, like you see how it's been increased here, so you get this beautiful line from the ribbing in your neckline. And yeah, actually the neckline was, when I was looking at like, okay, I was struggling getting into the pattern because it was okay. I'm not going to try to down talk this pattern because I know I was overthinking, I was trying to understand, I was trying to figure out, and at that point my mind was not working good enough in order to figure things out. So I kind of like just tried to go as it, like, go with the pattern and do as it says. But even though when I started knitting, it was like, this is getting like a very long neck, and it doesn't look that long on the model. I don't want it that long. And I was trying to see if any, and I was also wondering when the increases would start. Like, wouldn't they have been starting already? Because it looked like, you know, the neckline would be shorter. And I was trying to, I went into Ravelry, was trying to see if there was any comments there, and there was actually another person or two who had wondered about the same thing. This, like, when do you start increasing for the shoulders and front and the back? I didn't see a reply there. And then I stumbled upon a page that a test knitter had created, and I saw her version. I realized that her neck was super high, and I thought, like, okay, I'll just modify, and because it was slightly unclearly written in my mind, at least at that time, and I would get the same long neck, and I didn't want that. So I ripped back quite a bit and I modified a little bit, and I think it's working out fine, and it was like a super easy modification. But it's like when your mind is not working and you're trying to follow the pattern and you, like, yeah, blah. It's a lot of rambling for really nothing. Super happy the way it's turning out. There are some German short rows to have a little extra height in the back of your neck. In the back part. It shouldn't really be recording today, it sounds like. My words are starting to go awry somewhere. I can recommend the pattern. It's actually quite nicely written. Just make sure your mind is clear and just make sure you're not overthinking. You just do what it says in the pattern and you'll be fine. That's what I'm trying to say. The cables are super easy, so very easy to follow to knit. Nothing really complicated there. And yeah, I haven't got a lot left, so I'm quite sure by next time I should have a sweater ready for you to show. So pretty, so pretty. I think it's a really good color for me as well. Brings out my colors, my eyes really well. So I guess the last thing on the knitting front is that I have knit and reknit, and I have frogged quite a bit. I showed you the Alegría socks last time. I have since decided to rip them out. I still want to knit the socks. I still want to do the design. I just want to do it in different colors. I still have the idea of having this, like, a striped yarn, self-striping yarn at the sole of the foot, and then rest in like a solid color, or maybe having contrasting heels and toes. I don't know, but I still want to do that pattern. But I'm gonna restart it with different colors. I will do some small modifications in the hope that I will have easier time of picking up the stitches that I was supposed to pick up, which I kind of did not enjoy, and I usually don't mind that, but I don't know. So, and I also started to knit on the skirt that I showed you last time. First I ripped it out because yeah, I guess it wasn't super great with the gauge. I wanted to go down a needle, so I had knit quite a bit, but yeah, I ended up ripping it out. And also when I was knitting it, I realized I didn't want that skirt in those colors. So I'm thinking that I most probably, will pick another yarn from my stash and knit that skirt. And then I will see if I will use that yarn, either the one that I was supposed to use for the skirt, for either I will find a different project for it, because I want to love what I'm making, and I wasn't loving that combination. Even though I know it would look pretty, I just did not enjoy that combination. And I'm thinking it's better to decide that no, I'm either not gonna use it, or I'm not enjoying knitting this, not enough, so that I want the end product. And if that's the case, you know, rip it out and knit something that does give you a joy. Because when I was knitting my Vertices Unite, it was giving me so much joy. Like, you know, every single row was just a joy to knit. It was just absolute, I mean, pure joy. So much fun. And life is too short to do things that you're not enjoying, to knit with colors that do not bring you joy. So yeah, knit things that you enjoy, that you want, and use colors that you love and enjoy. That is what I would recommend today. And I'm thinking that I will say that that is it for the knitting content. I will go a little bit into acquisitions. So if that's not your jam, either spool forward. I will try to link chapters this time. I haven't done it last episode, 2 episodes perhaps. I'll go through acquisitions now, and then I'll pop into life things. If neither of those two things are something of to your interest, and you know, thank you for hanging out with me, and I'll hopefully see you next time. But if you are interested in seeing what I've been shopping, then do stay along. Well, actually, I do need to mention something that I was gifted. No, actually, I'll put pictures on the screen, because that's better. Before I go into acquisitions, because there's 2 patterns that I've been gifted, and one I forgot to mention last time, so I'm trying to be sure that I mention everything this time. I was gifted a mitten pattern by Venkeruar just before Christmas, which is called Christmas Rose, and it's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. It's knitted in Finul garn, so I guess like sport weight or fingering weight, I guess, could also go, because I saw when we tried on because I was so fortunate to be able to try this on, they can be a little bit on the big side, or you have to knit them on quite small needles. So either you can go a little bit down with needle size with your yarn, that's why I'm saying maybe fingering, even not only sport weight but fingering weight yarn. But also, like, if you do woolly wool mittens, then you can always felt them just ever so slightly, and you get both the warmth and the softness of a woolly wool that's been just ever so slightly felted, which I think is beautiful. But yeah, those mittens are super, super beautiful. I never got around to knitting them in Christmas, you know, Christmas rose mittens, but I am wondering if I should make them like in this mustard yellow with a white, and have them as a Easter rose instead, maybe. I'll see if I get around to doing that, or if I leave it to a later date, but I can recommend that pattern. It's really, really beautiful. And also another gift that I received, that was probably after last I recorded, I was by Elisabeth Gigernes. She gifted me this beautiful pattern for Anna Olava cowl and headband. And I am thinking that I will try to knit that cowl in this beautiful red merino yarn. I actually have lost a tag for it, which usually I'm really good at taking care of them, but this one I have lost the for it. It was originally bought, I think it was from Canada, a maker there, and it was in a set of thrum mittens. And I started knitting in the mittens. I did not enjoy the process, so I ripped it out, and this yarn has been like sitting in my stash ever since. But I thought that this would be so beautiful as the Anna Olava cowl. I really love that pattern. It's so simple, so beautiful. So I'm hoping I can get this cowl out of this yarn, and I'm thinking if it's gonna be a little too little, I'm gonna have to do some counting of meters and stuff, so to say, or like calculating, not counting. But I'm thinking that if it's not enough for the, so to say, the full design of the cowl, then I would just omit the sort of triangle or the V bit in the front and just make it as, so to say, a regular cowl without that extra bit. So yeah, those were the two beautiful patterns that I was gifted, and even more yarn stash yarn that I'm trying to use up and plan for. Let me just take the next, oh not the next, but let's start off with acquisitions now. I will cut off a tag so I can show it to you easier. I've been keeping it on so I wouldn't lose it. But I went to a local yarn shop here in Oslo, and they have like haberdashery bit next to the yarn shop bit. So I just went in there and I was browsing. I think I had just some time to spare, and I was just like looking for it with no particular plan, but yeah, just having a look. And I came over this. Let me see if I just turn it like that. It is a double pointed needles case set, I guess it's supposed, I suppose. And I put all of my Knit Bit Pro set point needles in there, because I've been keeping them in these original packs to keep them sort of organized, because I had not kind of found an organizer that I liked. But when I saw this, I was just like, oh, I have to have that. Because the thing is, when I'm knitting sweaters, when I'm knitting shawls, hats, and like those kind of things, I love to use my Shawl needles. That's like my go-to. Has become my go-to. I used to be a super fan of Knit Pro Symphonic needles for that as well, but now I use them only when I'm knitting like mittens mostly, first and foremost. And also especially since I bought the Shawl twists sets, like the mini Shawl needles. Anywho, but super pretty needle set. I have fitted, I think, everything I have in there of the needles that I do use. And it also has like a little, oh, let me just close it up, I don't spill everything out. Like a little pocket there as well in the front of it. And also one of the reasons why I like it, it is leather, so it's more, so to say, pliable. It's easier to stretch it and get everything to fit in there, and it just becomes this really lovely small case that doesn't take up a lot of space. So that was one of my purchases. I was pouring out needles here because I didn't close it properly. Yeah, I was gifted, I think I spoke about a book that I was gifted for Christmas that I was considering exchanging, as I found out that was probably maybe only one design or two max that I could maybe consider knitting out of that book, and it wasn't even like enough inspiration in that book for me, like for me personally. It's nothing wrong with the book, it's just, you know, we have different tastes, we like different things. So I ended up exchanging it, and I ended up actually buying this book called Instant-Knit. I'm wondering if it's given out also in other languages, or if it's only like released here in Norway. But it has a lot of like really lovely, it's not a new book, it has a lot of really lovely designs in here that I either looked at or maybe even like saved as in my favorites in hopes to knit them sometime. And there's a lot of really lovely designers in here. And you know, I have showed you this shawl before. I knitted this one. It's the lovely leaf shawl by what's your name again? Strikk-Elisa. It only says the Instagram handle, which is kind of not great when I'm trying to present it, but it's okay. I know also Skeindeer Knits has a couple here designs here. Those of you who follow her either here on YouTube or on Instagram. Gosh, I was trying to see where is her designs. There's knits for men, there is knits for women, there's knits for babies, for children, but I'm trying to find the Skeindeer knits because I had some half mittens there I really liked. Yeah, there are some of her socks that I thought were really pretty. And also partially why I kind of became... no, that wasn't Skeindeer, that was Tonja in Oslo. I'm telling you, giving you wrong information. But these are... oh, no, this is just inspiration, so it's not a pattern. But these ones I've looked at, I wanted to knit. And one of the reasons I became aware of this book is that I was looking for her patterns, like Skeindeer knits patterns. And this book has quite a few. It has a Selbuhals. Quite like these kind of cowls. When I knit it in like... this one is in Hillesbok Ask, but you know, you could just substitute it with Finull garn or any other sport weight wool yarn if you don't like wool, something else of course. But anyway, this book is not a new book, but it has a lot of really great patterns in here that I have looked at previously, that I've thought of knitting previously, and I have all them in one book now, which is really, really lovely. I really like that. And it was a really good bargain as well on this book, so win-win. So that's one acquisition. Then I was at a knit cafe at Garnfene shop, which is a little bit south from here Oslo. It's about 1.5 hours to drive. And I've been like oogling this yarn for a long time, but I haven't like bought one ball of it before, but I had to have another one. It's this silk cashmere, which is Pinnsvin design. It's a shop we have here in Bergen. And this is a 75% cashmere and 25% silk blend. It's 50 grams to 600 meters. So yes, the ball in itself is a little bit pricey, but when you look at the meterage, it's not actually so expensive after all. It's almost the same price that you would pay for like your regular silk mohair yarns. And I also bought this blend of 80% blue faced Leicester, 20% silk, 100 grams, 100 meters. And I'm thinking of pairing these two. And I have an idea. I will see if I go through with it or if I change my mind. But I do have an idea of maybe making myself a flax sweater. Just to keep it like super simple. To give the yarn like space to shine, I guess. Because these two yarns in themselves are super pretty. Ooh. Okay, that was that yarn ball. They're so pretty by themselves. This is blowing out. It's more pink. Let me see if I change around. Kind of, yeah, you can see it, but it's still getting blown out. It's a, I would say it's like a baby pink, like soft baby pink. not as pale as it's looking. Yeah, no, it's getting kind of long now. So that, have I? No, I haven't. There it is. I also went to a knitting festival in Sandefjord, which is just a tad longer drive for me from Oslo, but I knew there was gonna be quite a few people there that what I love seeing and meeting and saying hello to. So I took that trip out there and I do not regret it. It was wonderful coming there, seeing all these wonderful people, the wonderful vendors. The only problem of mine was that I came there with a really thin wallet and I was trying to be really reasonable and not be buying a lot of yarn. I was trying to keep my expenditure to the smallest amount, but you know, sometimes it's hard to contain yourself. The first vendor that I stopped at, like really stopped at and just couldn't pass, like go past, I just had to kind of touch the yarn and keep on touching it, is this Itamalal. I've heard quite a few podcasters talk about it as of late. It's a 2-ply nature white, soft and beautiful yarn from the land of fire, Patagonia, Chile. It was a super cute girl there. She was telling about the yarn, and I mean, like, I wish, you know, I could really tell you how soft this yarn is. I mean, like, it is so divine. And she had actually a model of the soy sweater knitted out of this yarn, which was also so beautiful. So if I had been there with a bigger wallet, I would have bought like a sweater's quantity, which I didn't, because that would have been not smart of me at the time. But I'm trying to remember now. This, I think it was, is it sport weight as well, or was it just ever so slightly thicker? I think maybe it was thicker. I would have to like look it up and maybe make notes on the screen if I can figure it out, the information, because it's blanking now in my mind. A 2-ply. Yeah, I guess it is around like. Anyhow, this yarn super soft. Just from feeling it, I can recommend it. Of course, I do not know how it is to work with it. I don't know how it wears. That is something that only time can tell. But it smells divinely sheepy, and it is super soft, and I'm super looking forward to figuring out where I can use it, like maybe a hat or mittens or something like nice and lovely. So that was Itamalal. Probably butchering the name, and I'm sorry for that. I don't do it on purpose, just don't have a knowledge of how to say it properly. And then when I went to my friend Gunn-Iren's stand, and I wanted to be supportive, but I didn't know how much I was going to support her because I just lost my mind over at her stand. I saw this bag there and I was like, oh, it's been in my bag, it's still crunching. I saw this bag and I just had to have it. Let me just adjust the light a bit. It's really cold right now. That's better. I just had to have this bag. Her bags are so well made. The detailed, like the attention to the details is always great. Like, I love that. What's the pink called? Yeah, you see the pink. I love the pink with this bag. I was actually talking to her and I said, like, if you had had like a turquoise zipper, like something that matched the fabric, like the blue, the turquoise blue in the fabric, I probably wouldn't bought it, but because of that, it just like made it pop. So I just had to have it. And then I could not pass this one. ×3. She had been dyeing up the most gorgeous like spring colors. I mean, like, look at that. This is dyed on Rauma Finull. So I have actually like a sweater's quantity. I can make a sweater. I don't know which one. Well, actually I have thought of one, but I'm not going to talk about it before I actually get to the point of making it. But it's so pretty. Oh my god. I love it being tonal and beautiful. And she has so many other colors. Oh my god. There were other vendors as well. I just had to like just turn away from and like not have a proper look because I guess not the best time for shopping for me. I can mention one there, which is called, he's called Stulenstrikk. He had a couple skeins there that was like, oh my god, I could really think of those. Like I wouldn't mind having those, but I will leave it for a later date. I will order them at a later point. So yeah. And then Garnfen, of course, they have a lot of beautiful yarn, but like I said to Tone, I hate it there, is that I will come back to Kvelde not long from now and I will do the shopping then. Because I'm going to a kind of like a knit day festival at their like local town. So I will have plenty of chances of like shopping from them at that point. So it wasn't like, if I don't buy them there now, then I'm not going to be able to get a hold of those things again. And there were a couple other ones. Ull Design was there with the yarn, and yeah, I pretty much had to go with like blinders everywhere because it was so many like temptations everywhere, both like knitted and sewn, and there were all kind of different things that they were selling. Ulva was there with her yarns and hand spun yarns. Does she have hand dyed? Oh, am I saying wrong now? Well, she has at least hand spun yarns, and she's got Angora yarns from her own Angora rabbits, and she has like fibers so you can spin yourself, and I'm so tempted. I should really want to try spinning more and more, like trying to do the full process from, well, I guess the full process would be like shearing the sheep and washing the wool and carding and doing all the things, but at least from like spinning to having the yarn to knitting the garment. Anyway, I'm digressing. And when Gunn-Iren was packing down her stand, because you know the day was done, and I was like, oh, I never got to put these out, and I was like, oh, I have to have this one because it's the perfect sock size. I'm missing like a bit smaller size bags that are more suitable for socks, and I thought this was so cute and perfect. So yeah, this one was bought all the way at the end, and it's just so pretty, you know, pinks and reds and whites. What's there not to like about it? Yeah, that's my shopping spree. I have some more yarn coming in, but that's something that was bought I'm gonna need a sweater from my man, so he actually paid for the yarn himself, but I'll show you when that comes, or whenever I ever just start on that. But actually I have one more mention which is kind of special to me, and I forgot to tell about it last time. I did have it, like I had it on the side, but I kind of forgot it. And it is special in a sense that this yarn came from my mother-in-law, and I've seen this yarn there for years, and I don't know how old it is, but I think it's old because I don't think I've ever seen this kind of fabel here in Norway. It is a Dale yarn, and just looking at the label, the name and everything, and also knowing that it's been there for years, and I know that she's not a huge crafter already, so she's probably inherited this. So it'd be fun if any of you out there know of this yarn, tell me a little bit about it, because I was trying to look for information just for the fun of it, but I couldn't. And my plan with this is making a toy rabbit, most probably. Aftenstrikk has this really cute pattern, and I will see if I can make it work with that pattern, because this is, I believe this is quite a bit thicker than what she has used, and I don't have a lot of meterage because it's only that 50-gram ball plus this like little, yeah, I don't know how many grams that might be, maybe 10 grams, so it's not a lot of meterage. But I want to make something, well, I want to make a toy out of it, and most probably it's gonna be a rabbit, just due to the fact that it's like this boucle yarn from way back when. So that is special yarn for many reasons. Yeah. So that is it for the knitting, shopping, all kind of content. So if that's what you're here for, thank you for being here, and you know, hopefully I'll see you next time around. And then just a little short summary of what's been happening with me, why I haven't been on the screen for a long time, and those things. As I mentioned to you, I've been around a little bit on knitting markets. That's been really fun, just to get out and say hello to people, and you know, see the beauties of life, which is you know, for me, one is meeting people, two is being able to enjoy the view of beautiful crafted things, if it being hand-dyed yarns or something sewn or something otherwise created. And yeah, I remember I like hello to the two ladies who said hello to me there. I was surprised that somebody recognized me there, and they did say, like, you know, we'd recognize you only because you were wearing your sweater, because my hair was crazy. I've been trying to let it dry naturally, so it looks a little bit, yeah, crazy, pretty much. Just very shortly, my hair is like, it's not pin straight, like what you see here. I've kind of dried it straight, but if it gets some humidity, it goes a little bit of poof, but not like a curly poof. It's just, I don't think I'll be able to do the curly girl method and get beautiful curls. I'm not there, but I do have some wavy thing going on. But yeah, they recognized me, they came over, said hello, we spoke for a little while, and it was really sweet. And like I said to them, it was so weird to be recognized, because usually I'm not. I go under the radar quite easily. I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm like unrecognizable, but there are a lot of, like, there are quite a few Norwegian podcasts that are a lot bigger, and yeah, more recognizable, I would say. But yeah, it was sweet. It was very sweet. Yeah, otherwise I've had quite a few, I've not had, but I've taken part in quite a few knitting knitting cafes. Mind is starting to go. Which has been nice, always nice. It's like seeing the people behind the people, so to say. I'm gonna say seeing the people behind the handlers, like on Instagram, or people that are podcasters, or yeah, like you've seen them maybe online somewhere, or maybe you are following them, but you really haven't seen the face. But then you're like, when you hear the name, something suddenly clicks. It's like, oh, is that you? It's so sweet. So it's been a very positive and uplifting experience, and that's given me a lot again, like mentally. And why I mentioned that is that about a month ago I had a tumble on ice. I fell, I hit my bum, and my right shoulder was kind of twitched kind of weirdly, and I felt it went fine. It wasn't like a big deal or anything. But about like a week later, I woke up one day and I was in so much pain, I was in so much agony. And I was trying to figure out what it could be, and the only thing I could think of was that it must be some kind of aftermath from that fall. And I thought, oh, it'll be fine, I've had a dislocation before and it's been fine. I'll just do some exercises I remember doing then, and it'll be probably over in no time. Yeah, no. It was definitely not. My man commented, it's like, you look like a 100 years old lady or such, because I was so stiff in my movement. And it was Sunday night, well, like actually Monday morning, it was 3:30ish, but I was like, okay, I can't take this pain anymore. Found myself a chiropractor and went to some intense treatment for almost 3 weeks in total, I guess. Because the first week it was every second day, and I think it was, yeah, actually it was second week as well, pretty much every second day. Well, no, with the exception of course of weekends and stuff. And yeah, so that took a lot of energy, and it was hard to sit, it was hard to walk, it was hard to lie still, because you know, no matter what I did for like extensive period of time would end up like hurting a lot. It was actually one of the like girls' nights I went to. I had fun, I enjoyed, and myself, and I came home, and then the first two sentences that sort of came out of my man who had met me by the door, or like had come to the door when I was coming in, and I said like, he said, "Have you had fun?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you look white as a sheet." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in pain." So that has been kind of like my reality for quite a bit of a time, unfortunately. So I've been participating in different, I would say events, but you know, on the knitting cafes and meeting people. But yeah, it's been with the help of pain relievers of sorts, and yeah. So it was just not possible for me to come and record any earlier. Just too much pain. It was agony for a while. I'm still not 100% recovered, but I'm a lot better. I do have some pains from time to time, but it's not like, you know, when I sneeze and it feels like my back is falling off or something is broke, or like it's been unpleasant to say the least. So yeah, I try to participate, I try to be active. I just had to give up. At one point, like, I was feeling, oh, I should be posting things on Instagram, I should be active there, and I was like, no, not happening. And it's also kind of, yeah, I remember why I said, like, I'm gonna tell you why I've been knitting so many socks. One is that I'm trying to make as many socks as I can this year, but also when you're in that much pain, it's really nice to knit on small things that do not need a lot of brain capacity, because then you can just knit it and whiz it, and you know, it's so much easier. So yeah, socks, a blessing. But yeah, a lot better now. The weather is getting so much better now. Yesterday we had a proper feeling of spring weather. I see there are some flowers popping up from the ground at the front of the house, which is always a cozy, it's always a sign of spring. A lot of the ice that I fell on has melted, or actually most of it has. It's just the big piles of snow that are still kind of lingering on, and I'm just hoping and waiting for those little first signs of spring, when everything starts like popping up, greenery is coming out from the twigs, not twig, yeah, twigs. I'm looking forward to that so much. And also I'm looking forward to going to Olava. That's a week and plus couple days from today, so that I'm looking so much forward to. That's gonna be so fun, meeting all these beautiful people. And I will, like, as always, try to be good at interacting, but I know myself as well that, you know, when I get tired, overwhelmed, then I do pull back and I do get quiet. But Even if I'm in that state, I'm okay if you come up to me and talk to me. It's just that I'm not gonna be the initiator. Yeah, I'm not gonna be that one necessarily. But I'm really looking forward to going there because it's always such a blast meeting like-minded people, nerding about yarns, patterns, and whatever it is. It's just, I realize how rare it is to be able to do those kind of things and have those kind of gatherings and, yeah, live in that little bubble and enjoy it to the fullest. Anyhow, I've rambled on for long enough. I don't know how long this episode is, but I think it is long enough. And if you made it all the way through here, then thank you for hanging on. Thank you for spending time with me, and I'm wishing you a lovely, lovely knitting March. And yeah, all the best wishes to you out there.